There's some people I don't like. Everyone is acting weird. They put something in my beard.
Hi, good evening. This is Nick Lavisha from Martian Radio Theater, and we're doing the Martian Radio Show. This is a show in which we interview humans, play games, and have a hell of a good time. With us today, and we'll bring you right up, we have the Sad Milk Collective. You mind guys going down the line, just sort of introducing yourself super quick?
Hi, I'm Jim. I'm one of the people that is being talked to today.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm in the collective, and I'm having a great time for a long time in the collective.
Hi, I'm Silas, and I'm just along for the ride, pretty much.
And my name is Nick. So, would you guys mind telling me again what Sad Milk Collective is?
Again, I don't know what you mean. This is the first time anyone's ever asked this question.
Yeah. Which is why it's very hard to come up with a good answer.
Yeah, gosh, I've never really thought about it before.
It is a collection of ideas regarding the fallen milk of which could have been in the past about the mood of milk fallen and its effects on
Society.
the Lowell society.
Yeah, that's the clearest way I think you could say that.
Now, is this I have two questions. One, is this a systemic problem? And do you guys personally struggle with crying over spilt milk?
Silas?
Absolutely.
I think it's something that once you talk about it, once you open up about it, like it's a pretty common problem that people have, and I think it's just a good way to get awareness out about, spilled milk and its effects on individuals. But as an individual's problem, you can treat it as a collective.
It's something we all deal with, and I think, as always, the first step is admitting.
Right. In short, yes.
There.
Yeah, and milk gets sad too. Milk gets sad too when it falls, and
We're not the only ones that are sad about the milk being spilled.
yeah,
The milk itself
milk is
is
sad.
not happy about it. Would you be?
It's a mutually tormenting experience.
Yes.
Do you guys remember the first time that you've experienced and maybe struggled with crying over spilt milk?
Oh, it's a problem as old as my entire life. Really, that's all I can say about it.
I couldn't remember the first time I cried over spilled milk.
Couldn't tell you the last time either. It's
There's sort of a generational trauma to it.
yeah, absolutely.
It carries down the line.
I never have, but I've had a lot of dreams about it. A lot of bad dreams.
Resultant from sad and sometimes turned milk. Although I think that's a completely different issue, which we will handle on a different show episode.
Well, turned over milk is the same as spilled milk.
You think so?
Turn it over, it spills.
but not turned.
Not turned, but turned over.
But turned over.
Turned over, yeah.
Oh, that's not what you were talking. Sorry, never mind.
No, that's okay.
You could spill turned milk. Nobody's arguing that, I think. Let's stop beating around the. Let's stop dancing around it. You can
get down to the real issue here.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at your guys' Patreon on the Sad Milk Collective, and you guys were doing a lot of great social justice work on sad milk. But I also noticed that you guys were putting out segments from the Dirty Douglas. Now, when I first heard of the Dirty Douglas, it was like a venue downtown. Were you guys, or like in the area, would you guys mind telling me a little bit about Dirty Douglas? What is it? What?
I guess I'll tell you. I'm kind of the Dirty Douglas guy.
You're the Dirty Douglas guy.
No, the Dirty Douglas was a house venue that I didn't live at, but I spent a lot of time there. That some friends of ours ran in college, and when we were all doing the radio station, which we all did, a couple of the guys that lived at the house, Ben Kaplowitz, who's a member of our band Inspector 34, and Andrew Holden, who's a friend of the show. They started a radio show that the whole idea of the radio show was to only play bands that played at their house. And when they ran out of bands after a few weeks of that, they expanded it to playing only bands that played in Lowell and sort of the DIY venues and everything. So that was a radio show and then I came in and was a co-host of the radio show. And then we started recording the episodes of the radio show and turned it into a podcast, which was ongoing for years and like 4 or 5 years. That we stopped doing in 2018, I think. But yeah, I have all the episodes, and I thought it's a great resource for local music that kind of just went away. So I wanted to just have them be somewhere that you could find them if you wanted, because I forgot to renew the domain name for the original, and it got bought by this Korean like virus website.
So
Go to dirtydouglas.com and get a Korean virus. Yeah.
Support local art.
Yes.
or you can go to the Patreon now and
so
those are all free.
Yeah, and I've been trying to put up at least one a week, but usually more. There's like 170 something episodes of the podcast.
Same number.
Oh, dang.
It was a week, it was a show we did every week for many years, and we tried to record all the episodes that we could.
How long do the episodes usually run?
It was a 2-hour long radio show, but for the podcast, I edited out each episode of the podcast doesn't have more than one song by any particular artist, and I also edited out all repeat songs. So if you listen to the whole podcast, you should not hear the same song twice. So some episodes become very short. And end up being like 15, 20 minutes, but the long ones on the weeks that we really put some thought into our playlists end up being 2 hours or more. Sometimes the show was originally on after Live from the Fallout Shelter, which is WML famous long-running live band show, and so sometimes we would record that show as well. I was hosting that show for a little bit, as was Vicky, who was a co-host of the show. And so we would incorporate the interviews and performances into the podcast episodes sometimes. So kind of goes all over the place. But really, I just wanted to put them back up and have people be able to listen to them if they wanted.
Very cool. It kind of brings me back to thinking about Lowell and as a place where there was a lot of like various basement shows compared to now, where I imagine, maybe they're still going on, but I have this sort of image in my mind of like everything being like incredibly dormant. And then I think back in like, a few years ago when it just seemed like every weekend, like there was like 3 or 4 things happening at once. Would you guys mind like kind of like telling me about your experiences with these sort of like specifically the Lowell like sort of scene, and if you've noticed a similar thing or if you feel like maybe it's not like changed at all?
To that point, there's definitely less going on now than there used to be, but there's still stuff. I heard that the house that was the Dirty Douglas years and years ago is the Tip now, and is a place that I heard about a show happening there like a month ago, which is pretty cool. That show's been going on there for a long time, but there's definitely less of it. And the older you get, the less of those kind of things you go to,
right?
Which is just
or even hear about.
Yeah, exactly. I heard about that show like a week after it happened.
And then you did live at a venue, right? There was
not me.
No,
these guys.
We did.
Yeah. And I
was
guess I
that
do now.
Zandcraft or
yeah, at the Wilder
Zandcraft. Well, you lived there.
I thought you lived there for a minute.
I didn't. No.
You lived at the OK House, though.
Right. That's another one.
That's another one.
That's ongoing.
So there's the Wilder, Zandcraft, Dirty Douglas, which is now the Tip.
Yeah.
OK House. Where are some other like venues that have been or are around?
The Glitter Box, formerly the Litter Box.
Glitter Box, formerly the Litter Box, was a good one.
Yeah.
Ant Cellar, was that?
Ant Cellar was great. The Sock Hop was one. There was another one. Spill City.
Oh yeah, with like John Cohen and yeah. Oh, that was a fun one. And I think there was one other one that I was thinking of. It was a relatively recent one. It was like I don't know, the crypt maybe. I don't know.
I've heard of that. I heard of one that they were calling the Vatican, which I think is
Yeah.
just the Zancraft again,
I
which is good. It's good to hear about that happening. Olivia, I think her first house was Walker Street Kitchen. I think that was one.
And have you guys sort of like got a good sense of like how the Lowell scenes, like kind of house show culture is compared to like, I don't know, I picture like the next places where the scene is like strong is being closer to Boston, like Somerville or Brighton. And where do you guys kind of like go for your music now? If you guys like have been going to live stuff.
It's difficult because I think so much new stuff is now just moved online, like even shows. Obviously,
Yeah.
in the past year, have moved online as opposed to being localized in Lowell or in Boston suburbs or some other town. So it's kind of tough to say. I forgot the question.
Pretty much like how like Lowell compares to like other
Oh yeah.
cities that have like venues and stuff like
It's
that.
I mean it's definitely more tightly knit.
That was exactly the wording I was thinking of. Yeah.
Like as opposed to having like a broad spread of house venues that are very very close by in like between like Boston centric towns. It's like Lowell is the only city for miles.
Unless you want to go to Boston or Worcester.
Right.
Yeah.
Boston or Worcester are like the next closest things.
Or like
scenes.
Providence, I guess. Same.
Yeah.
A little farther
Or Portland.
away. Now we're just expanding.
Yeah, Lowell's like got a good enough size to have a very very tight scene, I think.
And it's got the college is huge for it too.
College, of
music
course, yeah.
music school. It keeps it alive because you're always bringing new people into town who want to keep that stuff going.
Just
you know?
play.
Yeah.
For folks who've like hosted shows, how is it that people reach out to you because they know the show, or do you like actively try to like make a thing happen, or maybe that was like taken care of by other folk as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean it's always a collaborative thing. I mean you pretty much run everything at your house.
Yeah. Well, it kind of, since we have played with so many bands in our own like projects and stuff, you meet people, they kind of contact you when they're going on tour. And so like I often, if people contact me, I'm like, oh great, yeah, like I remember you, we had a great show, like we'll set up something for you around here, or like if not, I'll find someone too. So usually like
It's the whole
we kind of keep because the community, like we have this great community in Lowell, but we also have met so many people through us like going on tour and things like that our communities kind of go way further than that. Like we've toured all the way to like Florida. So like say we played with a band in Florida, if they were coming through, we'd set them up a show or do the best we could to do that.
Yeah.
So-
So the whole DIY network of even just like friends of friends, like, hey, our friends played with you guys when they were out in like Wyoming, a place we've never been. But like, oh, hey, could you help? Like, hey, so and so told me to ask you to set up a show. A lot of that also.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then really like, as far as just like scheduling stuff, it's just kind of like if people, I don't know. Like, I think that's how I normally do it. I don't normally for my house, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to like throw a show unless I don't know, have a kind of theme in mind. I'm not like, a lot of house shows are like, okay, we have shows like every single week. I don't know. I go on
Well, everything's less like that these days.
yeah. And I think it's hard right now to even judge the Lowell music scene for how it is right now because it's like been
It's such an
COVID for 2 years.
Unusual.
So
One foot
it's
in the
a-
COVID grave still, yeah.
yeah. So I think it's hard to like we were talking about the Lowell, like how the Lowell. I feel like a better way to judge it maybe was like right before COVID. Be like, okay, like how was the scene then? Maybe even though maybe it's irrelevant now, but it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to. I don't know, not have that be a huge factor in it. I guess.
Right,
And
right.
obviously, I haven't been going to. I just started going to like a couple shows again. we had like one show over the summer outside, and
I mean, I think people definitely want to have like events now. Like you said, like going to a show every week is not something that you necessarily want to do. It's like to just socialize because it's still pretty risky. But if you have a house show that's like a big deal, I think it's more of a draw. It's more interesting to people. It's like, okay, we're gonna treat ourselves by going to a house show.
Yeah.
Just like old times, you know.
Just
it's
like old times.
we did do a big live stream event on New Year's the year.
That was the biggest show we've had.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we did throw that, and we did like a full like multi-camera show on New Year's with you know, we interviewed a bunch of Sad Milk Collective bands, and we had a band that had formed during COVID kind of debut their band, Doxer.
Yeah.
So,
That was basically that. We live streamed that from my living room, and because COVID was so deeply in effect, it was essentially just the people that lived there and were in our orbit. So we couldn't throw a show. We're all in the bubble with each other already, so we can throw a show. And then Alex is a video wizard, so we did. We hooked up like a multicam setup, and she worked the switchboard and everything. It was cool. It was fun.
How was how do you compare like a live stream production setup compared to like a more traditional show? Like, would you do that again? Is it sort of like a cool thing that you like doing, or did you have a big preference for just live as is?
It was fun.
It was
a
really
lot
very
more
fun.
work.
it was
It's
really
like-
fun. A lot of work. You need like a lot more people. I mean, even when I'm running a regular show, I feel like I never have enough help because it's so. And I usually actually videotape a lot of the shows at my house. Not like a multi-camera thing, but I just get a documentation of it. But it was just a lot of running around. But it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing like, especially we had a lot of people watching it, which was cool. We did like a giveaway, and Giraffe, my puppet from Triple
Surprised you didn't bring Giraffe, actually.
Yeah, Giraffe's sleeping right now. But yeah, got to interview all the people and like all the bands after. So it was fun, but I think it's like was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's almost like a whole performance in itself.
Yeah, it's like a performance, like on a there was no audience. Like we didn't.
Yeah.
You don't make that connection that you do at like a house show with doing a live stream, like with people and other bands. It's like just a whole different thing. But I mean, I would totally do it again. It was very fun.
It was very fun. It's about. I was talking to somebody last night who said it's about a year since we started planning it. Since we first came up with and started putting the pieces in order.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
Oh
good.
yeah. So that was
last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. It's
Okay,
almost New Year's
I
again.
was like, what did we do? I couldn't remember. I totally forgot. Anyway, yeah. So different thing, but still fun.
Is it like a different? Each one is like a work and fun at the same time, but in a very different way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Transition to Giraffe. I would love to talk about Triple Yeah a little bit and the stuff you were. Well, actually, I was wondering because you have a show on Channel 8 right now, OK in the Backyard.
Yeah, so that's a show that I did in like basically peak lockdown in my backyard of like local musicians and stuff. It's very heavily edited, and I did some like kind of cool psychedelic type editing
Wacky solarization.
just to kind of keep just to like keep I don't know
Keep
keep
seeing
stuff happening.
Yeah, make it interesting. Make
And
it
I don't
more
know. I feel
interesting.
like a lot of musicians got really down during COVID, and everyone just felt really disconnected. And I was like, okay, this is like a great way to just like see people I want to see, like make a whole show out of it, and like just do something in COVID. Because I feel a lot of people are like just stop doing stuff. I was like, okay, I have to do.
Or just like do stuff from your bedroom. Like it was more fun than just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I filmed myself doing this in my room where I have been the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it just is that. It was-
Yeah. So yeah, it was that was very fun, and so I did quite a few episodes. I feel like I did over 10, maybe 14 or 15,
That sounds
Mhm.
right.
I think.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And I had a lot of Sad Milk Collective bands on there, and
Most of them.
Yeah, I think I had like all of them, and then I had like a lot of Lowell favorites, a lot of class. We had like TV Shirt. We had a lot of solo people. We had Mike Daly. Yeah. What else? Yeah. So, but that's all on YouTube.
Walter Wright,
Yeah, Walter Wright. Yeah,
local legend.
local legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had all the like really experimental people. You know, singer songwriter, guitar.
Rock and
Had a
rollers.
couple full
Rock and roll.
bands, maybe. Yeah, a couple full bands and stuff. So, but yeah, it just was like a good way to just keep connected and to still feel like I don't know, like connected to the music scene and stuff.
Yeah. It's really great that you provide an outlet for some folks. I think, I mean, such a big issue with the whole pandemic is isolation. You know, forming different ways to connect and collaborate and whatnot. Silas, you formed a project over a pandemic, right? FOMO Surfer, or is that
That's pre-pandemic.
pre-pandemic?
but I
Okay.
did a lot of FOMO Surfer during pandemic for sure.
You were on the show too.
I did do it. Yeah, I did.
You did
have an
2
episode.
shows. Well,
Did I?
Yeah, you
No,
did.
well,
You did
I
one
edited a
that
thing.
was Silas Price.
no, you did you did 2 FOMOs. I edited 2
Oh yeah.
FOMO Surfer
Well, one was
related
one
things.
was for once
something else.
ballroom, once virtual venue. They're like the Somerville venue that closed during lockdown, but they're still doing like virtual shows. Those are very fun. But yeah, FOMO Surfer is a kind of a long running project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, long running, like 4 years maybe.
And how would you? I mean, I feel like I'm always in the position to ask awkward questions, like how would you describe the sound? How would you?
It's synth pop. It's just I'm just trying to write pop music, but with like the limited tools I have. It's just like it's just an outlet that's like expression, pretty much. Like I don't try to. It's hard to really describe.
If you like punk rock and you like They Might Be Giants, you're gonna love FOMO Surfer.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
How about that? and you like Silas,
Hi.
because your fingerprints are all over that project.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that though. I mean, I think it's sort of with interviews. I think part of the struggle is, I'm trying to elicit like easily digestible answers. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
when a lot of times like when my favorite artists like don't necessarily enjoy describing or
Well,
talk about
it's
process,
it's
like
the worst.
impossible to do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a self, observation that is impossible to do if you want to make good art almost.
Yeah, there's a Orson Welles quote that I like, which pretty much it's just like pretend there's not an audience. I like
Yeah.
that you're just sort of like creating within a void. But do you guys, when you're making things, do you think about making things for someone, or is it just to kind of entertain yourselves for the most part?
I do everything to amuse myself, essentially.
I mean, I think there's a middle ground. Like there's you want to be able to show it to someone who think it will be good, but a lot of the time it's just expression. Like I don't know.
It's trying to do the best version of the thing that you
That
like and are
amuses
doing for
yourself.
yourself. Doing it good enough that you're not embarrassed
Right.
for doing a bad job. That other people will think you did a good job.
Yeah.
There was something I was watching the other day, the Giraffe musical,
Yeah.
and I thought that was wicked cool. And I think it was that in Florida that you had mentioned touring to Florida.
Oh, no, I didn't tour to Florida with that. We with Inspector 34, we did a tour to Florida, but
Was that in New Jersey or something?
yeah, that particular we did that show a lot of different places, but that particular recording was in New Jersey, but we used to do it around here and stuff.
Hell yeah! And was that your first foray into making like a musical medium?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, so so it's called Giraffe. Goes back to school, the musical, and Silas and I collaborated on the music and the stories and stuff.
It was kind of just like it's kind of just like a giraffe became this whole character and just wanted to have an outlet for it.
We're cute.
Slightly cute.
Definitely. I'm cute at my desk. I'm cute on the floor. I'm cute in my dress when I'm running out the door. I'm cute.
was always a musical aspect of Giraffe, and I think making a whole
Yeah.
like
like
a whole
very
full musical with
showy.
all the different characters, because Giraffe is as a character is very big, and there's a lot to explore in a musical, and I just like I don't know, I just had the vision for like I want to do a whole musical of Giraffe, and then
It paid off.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hit.
It
Giraffe
was a
is
hit.
now a national name.
But school's hard. School's hard. School's hard. Oh yeah, vacation solo. Yeah,
I really loved how like sincere Giraffe was in that. It was just like there were so many moments where I'm just like feeling like vulnerable or this or that. And it's presented in a very, very silly way, but like I don't know, hit me. You guys have worked in a lot of different mediums, like visual, music, and is it difficult to juggle these things? Is there one particular medium where you feel particularly comfortable? And should I use particularly again in a sentence?
If you can pronounce it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the advantages of having the sort of collective or even just like a bunch of people is that you can play off each other and inspire each other to try new mediums or to collaborate in new mediums. Like, I don't know a good way to put it.
Live stream show, perfect
stream
example.
show,
Something we couldn't have done individually,
Right.
but came together because we collected.
Yeah, we have a diverse group of skills.
Yeah.
And they, function in different ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody brings something different, and then it's nice to just be able to put the parts together in different configurations.
Yeah, like it's like okay, like I wanted to do a musical, but I couldn't do it myself. How did it? Like Silas comes in with all his musical skills, gets that going. I do a lot of album art and stuff for people, so people will be like, okay, I don't know,
Yeah.
get the visual art. People, I don't know.
Yeah.
You've done album art or at least album art like design layout for just about everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think everyone just has a lot of different skills to just bring to the table to kind of bring everyone else's vision to
Yeah.
light.
It's the whole
Oh.
point. It's the whole point
The whole
of
point
the
collective.
doing
It's
of
not
the
an-
collective
it's not an
at all.
accident.
Yeah.
And so, Jim, you recently started doing, or well, I understand that you have been doing, but you've been focusing a lot more on animation.
Yeah, I quit my job and I have a big boy job now, which is what I call that as an adult. I transitioned to being a full-time animator, which feels great to be able to do.
And you had like a couple projects that went in and were featured, right?
Hmm?
Like there, I think you had one piece that was featured in a festival. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. There was the music video Alex and I collaborated on. She painted all the backgrounds for it as the music video for West Side Gun that was accepted into the Winter Film Awards International Film Festival in New York City. We took a big trip to New York City.
Holy cow.
We were nominated for Best Music Video at the awards. That's true.
Which is cool.
Yeah, feels good. Just to be nominated. It's an honor just to be nominated. You know? I didn't even want to win. I didn't even actually really want to win at all. Just it's very cool. It's something I've been doing for years in my spare time, and now I'm doing it in all my time, which is cool to be able to do.
Beautiful. Let's see. I think. Let's see. I want to talk about. Yeah,
We
there's
gotta
so
talk
strange
numbers. Now we're talking
symbols.
numbers.
Gotta
Now
talk
we're
Yeah,
talking
let's get
numbers.
down to
Yeah.
brass tacks.
All right, we want
3.
2.
19.
5.
That's number one.
That's good. That was a good bit.
Do you guys have other stuff that you've been working on recently? That's sort of, I don't know, experimenting with anything new? Have you been struggling with any mediums?
I've been dipping back into making noise music again.
Yeah.
Electronic music as opposed to the synth pop stuff.
And now, when you're, well, okay, I suppose this kind of goes back into the audience thing, but
Sure.
when you're creating like a noise, do you try to make people feel a particular way, or are you just sort of exploring like the elements?
I think a lot of that is just trying to push the boundaries of what's listenable. So I think it may not sound like it's meant for an audience, but when I make noise, I try to make it for an audience to be like, okay, pay attention because this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like being, what's the word? Not obnoxious. That's to take.
But it's that like, oh, I'm just doing.
Provocative.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be provocative. I want it to actually be interesting music to listen to, and I think it tickles something else that pop or rock music wouldn't in the listener or in the creator.
Right. Something outside of conventions.
Yeah.
Get that full sensory.
Yeah, exactly. It's very sensory focused.
Yeah, nice to be able to create something sort of with no boundaries.
Right.
You know, you're not held in by the framework of, I'm going to write a song and it's going to sound like this. And you're going to write words to the song and it's got to sound good or whatever.
I think a lot of noise music too can often translate really well in like score and like, you know, like scenes in which it can be like more ambient. Well, not necessarily ambient, but I don't know. There's so many applications.
It's sensory. It's like an extra. It's not music, but it is sound. It is trying to elicit something.
Yeah, but less like a song and more like a soundscape.
Yeah.
I just want to hit a few more points before I let you guys go. I want so bad to submit to the weird like film festival, and I always like sort of block myself. I was hoping that you would sort of introduce like the festival, and I don't know, I guess maybe for you guys in general, this could be a follow-up question right afterwards. Do you guys have any advice for bashful creators or people who are, you know, who are timid and want to share, but they're just like, I don't know.
Give up, right? Just
No,
Yeah.
well, the one advice I could sing is that you're always your own worst enemy in that regard. Like you are your worst critic because you get to hear or see everything, every little detail or every little mark of progress. You don't when you look at a completed work of art, if you're the creator, you don't see the finished art. You see the progress of it. You see all the mistakes. You see all the effort. You see all the blood, sweat, and tears.
You see all the things that you
Wish you could have done.
differently. Yes.
The one that you see what was in your head when and it's just like not the same. But when other people see it, they see something completely new that they haven't seen before at all or heard before at all.
So if they're going to notice those flaws, it's going to take some time.
It's going to take time.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Just sort of, it goes back to what you were saying before, is doing it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to do the best version of the thing that you're doing to satisfy your own creative desires that you can. And if you do a good job, it's going to be probably pretty good.
It seems like the weird music or film festival. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I getting that?
Weird music is what we do.
Yeah.
on all otherwise.
Yeah, so the weird local film festival.
Yes, that's what it
If
is.
Peter Levine,
Wilf.
who founded it, he always goes, weird local. So
And so that seems like it's supposed to be sort of a prompt. It seems like accessible. Is that how it was designed to be? Like,
I didn't I wasn't there at the beginning, start of it, but Peter kind of started it in at Somerville Media Center as kind of like a place to kind of I'm gonna like say what I think, Peter, like why he started it. But I mean, I guess I could talk about where it is now. It's really like a place for local filmmakers to show their work, and like obviously Boston, this area isn't a place that's like known as like a hub for, you know, video and film and stuff, but through the film festival and people coming together and like submitting obviously like their, you know, I guess weirder films, or that's what we usually kind of showcase, kind of, you know, different, interesting, or stuff we find is interesting and things like that. Just a place for people to connect and be like, okay, there's all these other people making films in like this similar vein, and you know, DIY films. So yeah, I don't know what if I answered the question.
The kind of stuff that might not be accepted to something
Yeah.
as prestigious as the Winter Film Awards. No, but seriously, that's
Yeah.
it's like providing that outlet for local people. I think has been huge for me personally. I would not be embarked on my career path if I used like, okay, there's a wolf coming up. I want to have something in it, so I have to make something now.
Yeah.
And just having that impetus to create something is huge.
And I mean, and we normally, when it's not COVID, we have been doing virtual ones as well, but just having that, we did it like maybe like probably at its most like 4 times a year, 3 times a year. It definitely gives that deadline to keep making stuff. And I know before I submitted to the film festival and then became like one of the organizers and stuff, I was just making really weird films all by myself. You know, putting them online, being like, you know, it's hard to kind of validate your work when it's just online and being thrown in the void in the internet. So like once I started, I was kind of a little stuck in my filmmaking process before I started showing my work like that. And then, you know, you show it in front of all these people, you're hearing, you know, people laugh. Okay, this is funny. People are laughing and reacting to it the way you want. And then you get to talk to people like after about your film and their filmmaker. You get to collaborate on like, you know, their films and stuff. So it was definitely like having the Weird Local Film Festival has just like put me in contact with so many, you know, filmmakers when I felt like I was like at the point of being like, I don't even know, like
it adds a cool live dimension to your other earlier question about like the difficulties of working in different types of media. Like with music, you get a little more of that direct feedback where you play it live and you can tell whether people like it. You can sell somebody a record if they like it. But if you're just making like a video, you put it up online and then it's like, oh, well, it's there. Yeah.
And I put like 1 million, you know, I edit this for 30 hours and like whatever. Like, so.
It's cool to get that like live aspect out of it. Yeah. For me, at least.
Yeah.
I just have a couple more questions. I was wondering what you guys think about media these days, right? And sort of like the current format, the fact that like a lot of it's digital, and maybe some insights onto your thoughts on public access, and does that sort of translate into providing space for like weirder stuff as well? So yeah, like do you guys what do you guys think about like the media landscape, I suppose, these days?
Well, I think that, well, like Sad Milk Collective is a good example of this. Is like there's a lot more kinds of media to work with. Like you have, you know, you can have a traditional album or like a film or whatever, but you can also have like short animation. You can have collaborative stuff that's just like instantly accessible. I don't know.
You can have a Patreon.
You can have a Patreon page.
Patreon.com/Sad Milk Collective.
Make anything you want up there, and it's accessible. I mean, I think it's. I would say it's changing for the better, just because of that accessibility and of all the different formats and kinds of things you can do. Like, I wouldn't have expected to be able to, you know, with Alex, to make a musical, a tourable, small musical that was like
puppet show musical,
like
2-person live
with all this
musical.
gear that helps to make it a good show, even though it was done extremely cheap. and we're just playing it in people's houses and stuff. Like it's yeah. What was your coming back to it.
Yeah. It's just sort of like thoughts on media.
Yeah.
And I'll answer my own question a little bit. I compare sort of like the platforms. It seems like there's all these different platforms.
That's the platform.
And they all have sort of like niche populations, you know, that sort of like, I don't know, engage in, like TikTok is very, very short form.
Yeah.
So that's like one way to
Well, I think
engage.
people like in different, people have different ways that is best for them to express themselves, like TikTok or Patreon. If there are podcasting, like there's just so many more ways in which you can like flex your muscles if you're good at one thing. If you're good at talking, you do podcasts, you do music, or whatever. It's the diversity of media is good.
Yeah, there's certainly more than ever there has been.
Right.
I think especially as a consumer of media, you're never at a better situation.
Right.
As like a creator, it can be frustrating at times
and overwhelming.
Overwhelming and difficult to feel as though you are being heard.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like the metric for that is shifted, where like, not a ton of people listen to our album by any like huge specifications, but like thousands of people listen to our album from 20 different countries throughout the world.
Yeah,
that's amazing. The fact that can happen is very cool.
And it's like a good chunk of those people like tell us what they think about it.
Yeah.
We know them. It's just a very different, like, not. It feels a little bit more personal when you create art.
Yeah.
Alex, do you generally agree with that, or?
I was thinking about kind of one of I don't know. It's a weird relationship with like how, media, there's so much stuff being made all the time. But I think one of the good things about technology progressing is that like everyone can afford to make stuff and everyone should be able to. Mm-hmm. And that's also like, I feel like the beauty of like what public access has been for the past like, 40, 50 years or whatever, is like, okay, everyone should have access to just make whatever they want to make.
Yeah. And
I don't know, that is one good thing I am like excited about the future and now is like, okay, cool, like everyone can afford to make whatever medium they want to make. And I don't know. And there's so many just resources online, and most towns have like a public access station to learn the media skills if they want to, which is cool. So yeah, I don't know, I feel happy about it. And I don't know, public access is I'm going back and forth between things, but it's through online and public access. Like, I mean, just like the basic concept of public access is like a community space to like collaborate. It's and I feel like kind of YouTube right now is kind of like the online public access, where it's like, here's your own TV station, which is like honestly amazing.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
like amazing. And
we take it for it's so easy to take it for granted because it's just ubiquitous. But it is, if you think about it, like from 15 years ago, it would have been minds blown. By yeah.
So I don't know. It's just people need other people to connect and learn from, and I don't know. I think I feel very grateful because I think about myself in high school when I didn't really make a lot of my own stuff, and then as technology progressed and like meeting people and
definitely
through school.
The same way about that.
Yeah, and even like we all did the radio and stuff. That was like amazing.
That was a huge
to have
thing. Yeah.
That opportunity to be like, you can learn all how to make your own radio show and just do it.
And we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beauty of DIY.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have anything coming up that you would like to promote, or maybe talents that you've seen in the weird local film festival that you'd like to promote at this juncture in our interview?
Where to begin?
Where to even begin?
Well, we're really excited about dad dogs. So they seem to be making strides.
This hot new group in town.
None of us are in dad dogs, so we have no skin in the game. Oh,
I am.
I forgot you were in it.
We had practice last night.
yeah. It's the first anniversary of Inspector 34's smash hit "Love My Life."
It's
today.
true. This is a year ago today. Our last album came out.
The first with a full.
It was our
rock and roll
first
band.
full album with the whole band.
Several years in the making, and I think it's the best musical work I've ever been a part of.
Me too. I agree with that wholeheartedly, including all the albums I made by myself. This is the first fully collaborative album, I feel like. And I'm just so happy with how it came out. If you want to give it a listen, it's on Bandcamp, it's on Spotify. You can buy a vinyl record.
We got really cool vinyl records.
We got
He's
really cool
downplaying
vinyl
it.
records. You can buy
These
one
are-
from one of your local shops.
Yeah.
It's around.
Yeah.
It's out there, people.
Are you still doing more telepath giraffe?
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely. Hopefully, yeah. So sorry. Start over. Cut that out. So yeah. I do a public access show called Telepath Giraffe. It's a live call-in show where you can call in and talk to my puppet giraffe and get advice, and you can literally talk about whatever with giraffe. We usually have special guests, comedians, filmmakers. We show live. All right, back that up again. We show a lot of like live sketches and stuff like that, like video sketches, and it's really fun and interactive. But we're doing a special Christmas special on December 15th. So please call in and talk to Giraffe. We're pulling out the stops for this one. There's a lot of fun surprises for this one, so be sure to tune in.
I've never personally called in, but a lot of crazy sounding people have called in. You'll let anybody on the air to talk.
Yeah,
on
and you
this
could
show.
literally call in with number pops up, you call and talk to Giraffe live and stuff. So it's very fun. I think you've watched it before.
Yeah.
So-
That was a really fun episode. I think it was your Halloween special.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that's a
sure.
Halloween one.
And
Yeah.
I was really surprised at the callers. You had like a lot of different
Yeah.
types. There's like a little kid who's like, "Hi."
Yeah, we did have a little kid call, bless her. But yeah, so definitely tune into that. And and that will be on the Triple Yeah Productions YouTube channel. That'll be live. And if you're in Ipswich, it'll be on ICAM, which is Ipswich Community Access, on the public channel if you happen to be in Ipswich at the time. But YouTube, you can comment and stuff. So
I watch it from right here in Lowell
Yeah,
on YouTube.
cast it to whatever. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to promote. Yeah, keep an eye on I'm always saying keep an eye on my YouTube channel.
Always
for
something coming.
always something coming.
I just put
Triple
out-
Yeah channel.
I just put out a new FOMO Surfer album in October. It's called Glass Consciousness.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Glass, yeah.
Glass, yeah. So check that out on all the platforms.
Is it on CD?
It's not on CD. I should put it on CD, but we can make a CD of it if you guys are interested.
Made to order
I'm actually
CDs.
interested in a CD.
All right, we'll make
I'm a
CDs.
CD listener.
We'll make CDs.
Um,
CD listen.
my band, the other band I'm in, Squash, just put out a full length album as well last month. I think it was last month. Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be in November, not October. November. That's called Whatever It's Like, because that's what's happening. And you can get that all over the place too. We were gonna make records of that, but the other vinyl industry is insane right now, so we're not doing that right now.
Do you have tapes or CDs?
No, we have nothing. I believe we're going to make CDs at some point, and then we're working on an EP right now that we're going to release as a 7-inch and do a package deal, 12-inch, 7-inch. So keep an eye out for that in the future. Also, we're working on the new Inspector 34 record.
Bit by bit.
We're writing and stuff bit by
Yeah.
bit, so keep an eye out for that in 2022.
That's a lot of
It's
stuff.
gonna
We got you guys are
And
a
the
productive
Sad Milk
bunch.
Collective
Yeah.
Patreon. We got to promote the Sad
Yeah.
Milk
Oh,
Collective
true.
Patreon.
That's how you stay in the loop.
That's how you stay in the loop. Patreon.com/Sad Milk Collective. There's free all the Dirty Douglas podcast episodes we've been putting up. Those are for free. You can just listen to those. But if you for as little as $1 a month, we do put up a bunch of music that you don't get to hear anywhere else. where it's either like you got demos of individual projects
Yeah.
or we do collaborations.
Very interesting one-off collaborations.
Yeah.
Can get pretty kooky.
If you wanted to hear like one member of every band come together and do something that makes no sense
butt heads, but in a good
in a
way.
great way, not like those Beatles doing it so nasty and angry they'd get.
So mean to each
We're
other.
having fun when we're butting
Beatles
heads.
nice. Beatles nice.
But Sad Milk nicer.
Mm.
Nicer than the Beatles. Sad Milk Collective, and you can write that down.
You can-
Do we have anything else? I feel like there's something
I feel
we're
like there's
forgetting.
something else.
Pleasure Center.
Pleasure Center,
There's a
yes.
new
How
band
could we
with me and
forget?
Jeff Sullivan.
This
That's
hot
the
new
one I was
band.
thinking
Yes.
of. Pleasure
We
Center,
just put out
yeah.
a record or CD, I guess, called Please. I think in September. It's called Please.
It's very good.
It's very good. We decided we would try to make as many songs as possible in as little time as possible. So it's a full album that was done in I want to say 20 hours total. It was over a few days. And most of those hours were spent getting Thai food or something along those lines.
All right, now we're talking.
Yeah, and yeah, we're really proud of it. It's a lot of fun to listen to.
It sure
Is that on CD?
That's on CD.
That's
for
on
sure.
CD.
Okay.
You can
Give me
get
one
a
of those
copy.
CDs.
All right, you guys, sister.
We got CDs, we got vinyls, we got internet presents. Do you guys mind if I take a quick vinyl of you?
Take
Yeah.
it quick, as long as you're pressing it on vinyl, that's okay.
I would like one on CD.
Yeah.
It's gonna do a flash, and then I'll do the outro while you guys recover from the flash of it all. Thank you for joining the Martian Radio Show. This has been the Sad Milk Collective, and I have run out of film, so nothing even popped out. You guys have a great night, and stay tuned for the next episode.